And we are live in Orange County. Whoa, I just can't believe what I'm hearing or reading, that is. I am looking at my computer screen right in front of, my camera here. And it looks like Governor Gavin Newsom has approved Orange County's reopening for, they're calling it a second phase 2 plan to ease restrictions prompted by, the pandemic. So I want to thank you for tuning in. I decided to come on live because this is a really big story. We've been on lockdown since around March, I want to say the 29th, and I am seeing a shimmer of sunshine coming through my place at 9:20 p.m. in Southern California, in Orange County, because I'm seeing a breaking story that I drove around today, and I was in Costa Mesa area. I was around, actually there was you won't believe this, there's a Trump rally in Costa Mesa, and I didn't even know about it. But there is also, I was around some other places nearby. I guess it would be Costa Mesa still, and there were no shops open. I drove by, places like Sally's and, Pier 1, and everything was shut down. So this is a breaking story, and I'm just going to read it to you. Reading from ABC 7, and they are giving a story showing some restaurants in Orange, California, which is in Orange County. And they're showing some people out on some patios of restaurants. And, we have not had a restaurant open. We have only had to go orders only. We've had, DoorDash and some app availability where you just place orders with apps. They won't even, let you come in most of the time into a restaurant and go in and place an order. They will not open the doors, and we're making us, if you we're going to do it, it had to be online only. So they're very strict, and you couldn't go inside the restaurant to pick up your order. They would bring it out to your car. So, and they encouraged places like, let's say, a DoorDash to deliver it, for instance. But now I'm seeing a breaking story saying that meanwhile the Gavin Newsom has easing up his restrictions. The county's health officer issued a new order and additional strong recommendations to help slow the spread of COVID-19. They're going with that. And I want to say I passed a digital sign tonight on a back road coming back home, and it said "Cover your mouth." And I'm thinking, are they telling me to put a face mask on while I'm driving in my car? Because that's the message that I was getting. So I'm really shocked to see that the governor of California easing his restrictions, as I'm reading this article right here in front of my phone, right in front of my computer is right in front of my phone is my computer here, and it's telling me other businesses that are allowed to reopen include manufacturing, offices where telework is not possible, and outdoor museums. It's so weird. We understand that many businesses are hurting. Oh, no joke. As a matter of fact, Pastor Jack Hibbs reported that we have surpassed suicides in the state of California. The suicides are greater. The number of people killing themselves since we've been on lockdown, since March the 28th or 29th, have surpassed the number of deaths for COVID. This is really a hard time for people in the area in California. And it says that, however, the state is requiring training and assessments to be done prior to reopening, and they have to meet guidelines. And I'm looking at a picture, and I'll share this story with you, for people that want to open nail salons, which, no nail salons have been open, not around me. And they're making these people test. In order for these people to go back to work and open their nail salons, OC nail salon workers test COVID-19 to prove they're healthy and ready to work. So they're having to go and take a test prior to go, to work. In a statement, officials said the county was able to successfully demonstrate that it meets the state requirements criteria as described in the California Residency Road, whatever, noting that Orange County issued guidelines for businesses to operate 3 weeks ago. Michelle Steele, chair of board of supervisors, said it is our goal to ensure all Orange County businesses have the confidence to open as safely and as soon as possible without concerns about the state order. So let's see, there's new requirements. It's saying most people have to wear face coverings when in public, which I'm seeing that, obviously, you know, we're all seeing that here. And somebody made a comment under my post, and I get this a lot, and I feel like we live in two different worlds when you say we don't have to cover our face and we live in Orange County, or restaurants are open. No, they have not. And yes, you do have to cover your face in the areas where I live, and the area I'm talking about is Costa Mesa and Huntington Beach and Fountain Valley, you know, some of those places. And then it goes on to say you're going to have to wear your face coverings in public, and also mandates, and this is big, we have digital signs, make sure not together, because we want you and it mandates self-isolation for all those with COVID-19 and self-quarantine for all those who have been exposed to the virus. So here's the you know, continuing on with what they're pushing on this. The cloth face covering order does not apply to children under the age of 2, although I was in a grocery store and I saw a very young little girl wearing a face mask. She looked like she could have been 3 or 4. She did have one on, but it says you don't have to under the age of 2. Anyone who has trouble breathing, persons with medical or mental health condition, or they can prove a disability that can prove, oh wow, wearing a face covering, the ocean. So you can actually, the Orange County Health Agency said, so they're actually, you can get away with it. I didn't even know this, if you had a doctor's excuse, but how are you going to get to the doctor? Because you can't even get your teeth cleaned, and I'm not going to go to the doctor, and you probably have to go into the doctor, and I'm pretty sure they would test you. You would pretty much be walking into having to be tested. Anyway, the order includes necessary preventative measures to control and reduce the spread of COVID-19 in our community and help preserve the capacity in our local health care system, which was one of the metrics the California Department of Public Health took into account before approving our plan to move deeper into stage 2 of reopening Orange County. So we have some new information on this coming in. These stories, well, some of them, if you just Google Newsom, Orange County, they have 9 hours ago, but some of them have been updated as little as 2 hours ago. And I am really happy to see this happen, and I will be out and about, you know, on this big weekend. This would be just amazing if it's true around my area, because like I said, I didn't see any of this going on, and some of these stories say 9 hours ago, and I didn't see any stores open besides the ones, you know, that are quote essential stores that have been open. And I will be happy to show you tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a big day as I go out with my husband, and we will be checking this out. I was trying to find out if some places like Laguna Beach were open. I know they have limited beaches that are open, and I think they said Seal Beach, Huntington Beach, and Newport Beach. I have seen some of them where they are allowing people to, you know, park into the spaces, and but they have the piers shut off and gated off, and they have, you know, big restrictions in there saying that you can't lay out and sunbathe. Now, if we move over to LA County, I was catching that story, and they could not believe this. They actually have a enclosed, they called it a government vehicle, but it looked like a tractor kind of thing, and it had they were actually policing Venice Beach, and they were making sure people were just moving along. And in the picture that was posted today, none of the shops on the sides, they usually have those shops that are open, it didn't appear that they were open, but it does appear that the beach is, and they're letting a few people, you know, go around. But they're keeping them moving, so they're literally patrolling, with this tractor thing. And actually, maybe I can find that story because it's actually on LA Times. And here's what happens, and this just happened to me. They make you pay to read it, but a second ago I was reading it and posting it on my page. So I'm gonna see if I can go to my page, and we're just gonna see. Or actually, I can just, you know what I can do? I'm gonna turn my computer around for a second, and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna turn my camera around for a second, and I'll show you the picture. Let's go here. Go to my Facebook page where you are watching now. And I was wondering what y'all were doing tonight, because you won't be doing much. It's almost like, I have an iPhone and I have a Mac desktop. And I find this so interesting. When I'm doing, let's say I'm doing a Facebook Live, and I'm on my computer constantly because this is what I do for a living. And then all of a sudden my mouse will just stop working. And then things will just all of a sudden just not function when I'm literally saying, what I want to do. And then I'm telling you, this never happens. And it's almost like my computer is acting up on purpose. Do you get ads after you speak to someone in your house? And do you get an ad saying, whatever you just talked about, let's say with someone, and then all of a sudden it just comes up? Yeah, something like that. So my literally computer has frozen, and I'm telling you, this absolutely never happens. So it's just really strange. So let me try one more time. Maybe Jesus touched my mouse here. Jesus touched my computer after all. Oh, does that happen to you, Don? Okay, good. Because this is like, trying to not hold everybody up. 9:30. Try to catch up with the news. My husband just told me about the breaking story that the governor indeed, signed this bill. I think because the Department of Justice is on their tails, to set California free. And so let's see. Oh, no, it's not going to let me look there. So aggravating. And, last thing I want to do is, support places, mainstream media outlets that aren't always truthful. Although, we're forced to read about their stories. And then I go out and I fact check them back. I'm going to fact check them tomorrow because I live in the area. So we're going to see if some of this stuff is true. But I will post the picture of that tractor thing that I was like, whoa, LA County, glad I don't live there. They are not playing. But some of you people do live there, and I'm sorry that you are having to be patrolled like that. But I've seen things happen over here too. So we just really have to get real here and help each other out and report these stories. And I would love to know if in your area, what you're up under. Let's look up Gavin. Paul, do you have anything else? Paul is like my husband. He breaks stories like before the media. We could team up and take over ABC7. If he didn't have a full-time job and I didn't, we could just we could break everything. Serious stories live.
Nothing else.
Honey, are you sure? You're always coming up with something. I know that Pastor Jack Hibbs, you showed me that one. That's a big breaking story. We had a pastor from California who went to was he in the White House? Well, he taught a Bible study or
Zoom meeting.
Okay, he zoomed.
Trump staff.
He zoomed in a meeting, and Donald Trump, president, came on the Zoom meeting, and he didn't expect it, and he was representing not only California but all of us, the Christian crowd. Yes. And Trump said that he was going to write an executive order to release all the churches to be able to come back and meet again. I think by the end of the month, right?
Well, actually, I guess they could meet sooner.
Sooner, okay. They can meet sooner.
But Jack Hibbs has a word of knowledge, and maybe my wife will want to explain about the word of knowledge. He heard from God that
Yeah.
he was going to go back and start having church again on the 31st of this month.
Yeah.
And it looks like God is honoring what he told him.
Okay. Here it is. Court upholds Newsom's ban on in-person church services in California. Is this a breaking story? Oh my gosh. I think something just broke. Court upholds Newsom's ban.
Oh no.
What does this mean? On in-person church services?
I guess it's going to be the fight between Trump and Newsom.
Oh, okay. So this just, oh, wow.
This is
This was today. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals upheld Newsom's ban on in-person church services in a split ruling that landed Friday night and is likely to further anger pastors who claim that California is trampling on religious freedoms. But according to what Jack Hibbs went to do,
in the Department of Justice.
But look at this. The decision came the same week more than 1,200 pastors vowed to hold in-person services May 31st, which is Pentecost Sunday, defying a state moratorium on religious gatherings that Newsom imposed to slow the spread of coronavirus. So Jack Hibbs, actually, Pastor Jack Hibbs, which he has a church in Chino Hills, California, and he heard from the Lord to open up his churches, and he said it wasn't President Trump that told him. He reinforced it today in that Zoom meeting, but he also was explaining that the Lord put that on his heart. He also, Pastor Jack Hibbs also said he was for 36 straight hours in interviews with all these media. You know, you maybe saw him on Fox News, I didn't watch, or just all these massive interviews he was doing for hours and hours, because God has him in the front lines to burst forth, opening back up, and he's literally standing in the gaps. You definitely want to pray for him. And it's a breaking story with that pastor, and I just love him. He had a service in the parking lot, I guess a week ago, and we didn't get to go to that one. We wanted to, but I do believe he had a lot of people show up. How many people do you remember the crowd? It was like quite a bit.
I have no idea.
It was a lot of people, and so we have this is some good things. This is a good thing to hear that the churches are going to go ahead and open, and Trump is behind that, and he's going to do an executive order. The governors are going to have to loosen their grips on this, on the church. But in addition to that, we are going to need to continue to pray. Now, somebody in there wrote, let's continue to pray. That was Cheryl Best. And I agree. We need to continue to pray because there are still too many restrictions with what we're up under out here in Southern California, maybe your area. But breaking story that Newsom has signed a release for the second phase opening for us to go back to maybe dining outside a restaurant, and some retail shops opened. Now, I haven't seen them open. I don't know which ones these places are. I don't have the names of them. This one story on ABC7.com highlighted the city of Orange. And like I said, I was around places in Costa Mesa today, and I did not see any nail salons or places open. So it's just like everything's still closed in my eyes. So we'll see. And Starbucks, I noticed, stayed closed most of the whole time. And recently, unless you were a drive-through service, which most times around where I am, there's not many drive-throughs, that the stores were just closed, but they just started taking orders through an app, and that was something that just changed. But other than that, we've been really closed down, and it has been, people have been not doing well at all. They're losing their jobs. Some people don't have a job to go back to, and a lot of retail stores and a lot of businesses are closing down. They won't be coming back. So there's a lot of things that are really sad, and I thank God that that the governor is going to loosen his grips on this, and we need to keep praying that he will, so we can go back. Everybody is important and essential can go back to work. Well, that's the only thing I wanted to report to you guys tonight, and I'll be back tomorrow to show you any new findings and what stores that really are open. So hopefully I'll be coming to you live with my husband in a restaurant. Okay, good night. I'll see you soon.